me see if I have you figured out, my icy innocent EBs. You hate this subject because it seems incredibly hard to understand and everything that the teacher tries explaining just goes over your head. Maybe you hate the teacher in particular because they're extremely boring or act in a despicable manner. In all of your exams, you do pretty bad despite having tried to study properly and for many hours. You panic in the exam because you absolutely swear that you learned this, and yet your brain just seems to stop working. Let me help you unleash your inner EBIS. Let's start with mentality, and before you skip further along the video, know that you will fail if you do not hear what I'm about to say. Your mentality in this arduous journey is a huge player, because if you hate the game, you will hate even more being forced to play it. Going in with a defeatist mentality will only make you weaker, and I'm pretty sure that you want to succeed more than anyone here. The way to change your mentality is by reframing how you view your subject, despite its negatives. I mean, think, clearly someone in your class loves the subject that you hate, while you are desperately trying not to fall asleep. The reason is because they correlate something they like with this subject. Maybe they like the fact they understand it easily, maybe they're passionate about it in general, which makes it more interesting. I hated chemistry, so the way I changed my mind towards it was by correlating what I learned with stuff that I liked, such as chemical deaths in a true crime, or how chemistry would work in certain shows, or understand the biological side of chemistry. Try to reframe your subject with stuff that you like, and you will find some sort of connection. If you truly cannot relate to anything else, then what I would suggest is viewing this as a means to an end. There was a point in chemistry learning where I just hated it so much that I would be physically revolted trying to even study it. Full on pain and mental stress. I reframed how I viewed chemistry, not as a subject that I had to like, but one where I had to beat my classmates in. Yes, I literally went to a close friend of mine who was amazing at chemistry and told him that I would beat him no matter what. That mentality helped me in dealing with moments where I was about to quit, and made me realize that this is just a temporary obstacle that I need to overcome to achieve greatness. If you skipped to this part, my EBs, go back, because otherwise nothing I will say will stick to your mind. For the rest, let us continue. We often do not like something because it is too hard for us. When the game gets too hard, we feel angry and discontent. So it is important that we understand the complete basics. You need to make sure that the absolute fundamentals are locked in and you know why they work that way. I do not care that you need to learn that 1 + 1 is equal to 2. Make sure you know why it is 2 and not 11. You will need to put in the time and work because you are already behind. So literally make sure that you understand the prerequisite materials and topics before dealing with even harder topics. Think of them as progressions where you get to unlock your understanding on a harder topic by fully knowing the easier ones. For a full-on mastery, try stretching your knowledge with the easier topics. So ask yourself, what if this happened this way? Or why can something not work if I change it? The more you stretch, the better prepared you will be for harder topics, because it just so happens the harder topics are just expansions of the easier topics. Having good role models / people to look up to is needed here. After all, when someone is excited to teach you, you too can get excited. My unfortunate guess for you is that you are not able to change teachers with the teachers you have been envious about. So what I recommend is search online for people who are passionate about teaching and learn from them, whether these are online tutors, YouTube channels, or even emailing your teachers you know are ready to help you. Voluntarily ask questions and try to understand every little detail from them. Now, let's tackle exams. The best way to succeed in exam is by practicing the questions. Yeah, no brainer. But I bet you have skipped doing this part when you had previous exams because you said, what is the point if I'm going to fail anyways? Well, my EBIS, the point is that the more you practice, the more you will immerse yourself and be in the zone of the exam. You will feel less scared of the exam and finally answer some questions with decency for once. It gets tiring, boring, I know, but it is something that you just need to do it and get better at. Here is something you can do. Create a mistakes box of all the answers that you got wrong. It will be incredibly long, but it is very important because it will be full of information regarding what to include in some of the answers, what are the common mistakes, where are the gaps in your knowledge, and where do you need to do further research. This mistakes books is your holy book of knowledge. Remember though, you need to learn from these mistakes, not just pointing them out. Mistakes without learning will remain mistakes. Finally, let's talk about goals. I think most people will tell you to go for a realistic, achievable goal. But for me, I knew deep inside that the peak version of me who actually tried studying properly with the best methods would have excelled at it. So I'm going to tell you to have high goals. My philosophy is that if you're going to aim for the clouds, you might as well aim for the space, because on your way to space, you will hit the clouds, even if you do not end up in space. On the other hand, if you aim for the clouds, you might not even hit the clouds and fall back down in the ocean again. Now, having high goals doesn't mean you do not have to put in the work. I think this is where most people do not want to aim high, because they know that to get high grades, you need to put in the work. Either way, you are different than them. We are different than them. So you need to aim higher and put in the work to make sure you reach that high. You know what is worse than hating a subject? Hating the fact that you got a shit grade because you were not bothered enough to try. You have untapped potential. You are just turning the tap in the wrong direction. Learning a subject you hate can be extremely hard if you keep getting distracted while studying. So here you can find some tips and tricks to have laser focus.